and I'm going to try not to butcher it, but it's Pashalidis.
So close.
Pashalidis?
Yes.
Pashalidis?
Yep.
Pashalidis.
It's okay. I've been called worse, man. And probably by you on the field, too.
That's not a surprise. Matt's a hothead.
No.
I am not a
You are absolutely a hothead.
Don't listen.
We play against each other, and he comes after me a lot more than.
Well, that's a
anyone
brother thing, so I would go after my brother, too.
Yeah. See?
Worse tackles than
Yeah.
than the World Cup.
else. There was one he came after me. I wasn't even in on the tackle. I was just standing there.
Oh, you're such a baby. All right.
Is any of this usable? I'm just
All right. All right. So, Pashalidis. Okay.
That works.
Ready? Oh, we got to clap.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, so we have to clap so it syncs up the cameras and the mics.
It was in my hand, so I just.
Okay, ready? 1, 2. Ooh,
That's bad. One, two.
Oh, much better.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was like the
The row.
Yeah.
Oh, the skull.
The row, Norwegian, like, with the drum.
Yes.
Should we get a drum next time?
That'd be nice.
That'd be a great start off.
Right.
A gong.
A gong?
Yeah. That'd be cool right there. No? All right.
All right. Man, it's been forever since we've done this. Forgot my intro.
Welcome back to the Finance Things in Life.
I'm Matt, along with my brother Anthony.
There you go.
Now she's taking B-roll. Okay. I'll make the introduction, introduce you, background, then we can kind of kick things off. Cool?
Sure.
Cool.
All right. You gonna do your thing or no?
Out Now Brown Cow, Unique, New York.
Done 50 episodes and does it every
Social
time.
Security, Part 1.
Part 1.
Take 1.
All right.
Action.
So you need to.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, right. Little chop. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Matt, along with my brother Anthony. This is the Finance Things in Life. And today we're here with Jim Pashalidis. Oh, man.
So close. It's all good.
Wow, I can't believe you butchered that.
I know. Pashalidis.
Mr. P.
Yeah, Mr. P. Our ref. Today we're being ref by...
You don't have any cards on you, do you?
I should do. I'm always ready. I'm kidding.
Oh, my God. That would
be hilarious.
I was so close to bringing him.
You say like one wrong thing, it's like, this is your yellow.
There's a warning.
One more and you're out.
Yeah. Today we're here with Jim Pashalidis, right?
Perfect.
All right. Jim Pashalidis to talk about Social Security. We have a lot of clients oftentimes that come to us with their questions, and we don't always have those answers. So I think today's, podcast will kind of help answer some of those questions as, we have people getting closer and closer to retirement age, whether it's 62, 65, full retirement age, 70, or so on. So hopefully we can answer some of these questions for you. So feel free to like and subscribe to our podcast and, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, as well as Spotify. So
Beautiful.
you guys ready?
I can't wait. Who doesn't like talking about Social Security?
Yeah. Well,
It's a party all day.
yeah. Fortunately, we're here with someone that can keep it interesting for us, right?
Love that. Love that for us.
So, Jim, we know you're at Empower right now. If you want to just give us a little bit of background, kind of your story and how you fell into this
Wonderful world.
Riveting.
world of Social Security,
Sure.
and then we'll kind of kick it off.
Sure. I'll try and give it the abridged version. So I was an educator for 20 years, city school district, elementary education, and was not as fulfilled towards the end of that career. And then my parents got divorced, and my brother and I had to figure out my father's Medicare insurance. And even with a master's degree, I could not figure it out. So I needed to get help. I called a friend of mine from the past. He helped us out. I was very grateful for the help. But then I also kind of saw that he enjoyed what he was doing. And I was like, man, it looks like it's fulfilling. I had no idea what he got paid or anything like that. But I was like, you look happy. And I know that your client is grateful. So I looked into it, and then I the wonderful world of Medicare came into my lap, just like that. And so I switched careers. And during the assisting folks with Medicare, I don't think you'd be shocked that a lot of questions came to me about Social Security. So despite what you might think, I wasn't when I was 8 years old, I didn't go to the what do you want to be when you grow up and go in the shirt and tie and be like, I'm going to be a Social Security guy. I can't wait. No, never. It's not a topic that brings excitement to me or anything like that or is a passion. But being someone that wants to help educate folks so they're more empowered to make their decisions, I ended up seeing this thing where you could get a certification. So I paid money, quite a bit of money, to get trained and then take a very thorough examination to get the certification called Registered Social Security Analyst, which is how you found my name doing just a Google search for who knows Social Security in the Rochester area. And I think you said
there's 2 people.
2 people.
Wow.
Well, around the country, there's hundreds of these, and it's increasing. And a lot of people that are in these other categories like financial advisories or Medicare, they do it as a chance to get another income stream because there's people that do a Social Security analysis, and they might charge $500 for 1 hour session, right, to look at your numbers and give you the optimal time. So anyway, none of that was the reason why I did it. I just wanted to be a resource for my clients in Medicare and just answer the basics. I don't do it every day. So I'm definitely, if the questions you might ask me today, what I would do if a client asked them, it would be like, let me take that question and let me research it and I'll come back to you with an answer. Because I have the certification, I now might know where to go find it quicker. I might understand the lingo better and so on. So from there, that's how Social Security came into being for Jim Pashalidis, And so I also then am now a resource for my other Medicare brokers on our team at Empower. Now, when they get these questions, if they don't know them, they now have a resource. And we never charge. I don't charge anything. I've never done a full analysis either, but I've gotten leads from people just like you, just searching and then asking. So the goal is to inform.
Yeah.
So that someone doesn't do it by themselves.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of like our big thing is always, an educated client is the best client. And
you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And so, I think educating people is huge, and then, you're not, you can kind of lead them and kind of guide them to, all the different options out there. But ultimately, it's up to them to kind of pick their best path. So, which, I think the first question or the most often question we get is, when should I take Social Security? Right. Mm-hmm. And my response often is, well, if you can tell me when you're going to die.
I love that. I mean,
I can tell you exactly when to start Social Security.
This becomes a much easier decision if we knew our expiration date.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
I agree with that.
Yeah. And, and so I don't know if you want to kind of go into kind of the age and the rules and how it changes your benefits.
Yeah, let's just general. I think most people know the general rule. The earlier you go, the less you get. That's the general rule. Now, there are exceptions. Like there's people that they don't have a lot of earnings, that their own individual Social Security benefit at full retirement age, which nowadays for most people is 67 years old. There may not be that big of a difference. It might just be $100 difference. The percentages are going to be the same, but the percentage of a small number is a small difference. So it doesn't make sense. Yeah. And then there's other factors that we'll get to in later questions that you have. But in general, your full retirement age is you're going to get 100% of what you're entitled to. That number is calculated by a lot of math. So just call it your PIA is their term, your primary insurance amount. So whatever that is, and we can use round numbers, but let's just say that's $2,000 you would get a month if you waited till 67. Well, at 62, you get a fraction of that. 63, you're getting closer. And we can go on their site and even get the exact percentages to tell you. But basically, it's like a 4 or 5% increase. At 62, it's 30% less. Okay. That I know. That's a number I remember. That's significant to me. And then it gradually increases till you get to that 100% number at 67. The interesting part, and not a lot of people think this way, but if you wait beyond, you're allowed to wait till 70. And that's an 8% increase every year after that. So But then you got to figure out, well, how am I living? Am I still working? And all
Mm-hmm.
those other calculations where a person in your category, the financial advisement, can help decide if that's a good move or not,
Yeah.
or possible.
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes that's the big question. It's, a lot of people think, oh, when I'm 62 now, I'm eligible. I need to start taking it. I want to take it and use it up. But, one, if you're still working, it might not make sense for you. Or, depending on what your assets look like, maybe it makes sense to wait till full retirement age or 70.
Right.
So it's more than just, hey, it's available, I should take it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed with that. I have those clients in Medicare that just say, I ask proactively, well, what are you receiving Social Security benefits yet? And they're just, most of them are at 65 or approaching 65. And they're like, well, no, of course I don't. Well, that's not an of course. There are people that come in. And,
Right.
So they didn't even understand that they think they have to have it. They have to not claim until they're done working, and which is not true.
Yeah.
So
now, if once you reach full retirement age, correct, that you can work as much and collect as high of income, and it does not affect your benefits?
correct.
Okay.
You can earn $1 million, and there's no penalty for that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people, kind of forget that, and, they start collecting at 65, they fully retire, and maybe they get a part-time job and start making $25,000, $30,000 a year, and now their Social Security benefits, penalized.
Get reduced. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and there's something called an earnings test that decides that, the amount. So that, like, this year's number, 2026, is $24,480. Again, I don't know a lot of rules, but that number I know now because people have stopped working, they no longer have their full-time job. They are receiving their Social Security benefit because they're like, I'm going to take it now. Right? Okay, take it. But there's going to be a consequence. If you go over this amount, they're going to start at every dollar. You're going to get $1 reduction for every $2 above that you go. So, and that's hard to even express. So sometimes I say it a bunch of times. So every $2 above that $24,480, you're going to get a $1 reduction in your Social Security benefit. So that can be, quite a lot to someone. But the big part is that they need to know it. A lot of people don't know it till it happens.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. I feel like there's just a lot of consequences with the Social Security side, the Medicare side, the benefit side, that people they may have an idea like something could happen, but just not understand the intricacies of it.
100%.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And I think it would be, a lot easier if it's just you making a decision on Social Security, but oftentimes you're married, and so now you have spousal benefits, and that adds a whole nother dynamic to the equation. Do I take it? What do I collect? Sometimes people get confused where they think they're going to get their benefit plus the spousal benefit, and double dipping, which is no longer the case. But yeah, if you want to kind of touch base with spousal benefits,
and it also, what I'm about to talk about is similar to some of Medicare. So we have what's called Part A, hospitalization. So a person who works and pays into the system for 10 years has this Part A premium free. Well, what about a spouse to that individual? Well, the spouse can qualify under their spouse's 10-year work history, even if they've not worked. So similarly, now into the Social Security, a spouse can qualify for, so the lower, and this is not gender, this is by lower income, lower Social Security benefit spouse is entitled to up to 50% of their higher earning spouse's PIA, whatever that they're claiming it. So in real numbers, if my wife makes more money than me, her benefit when she claims it is $2,000. let's go with $3,000 for her example, and mine individually is $800 a month if I waited for my full retirement. Well, I'm entitled to up to 50%. So if I wait till I'm 67, my full retirement age, I can, if she waited for her full retirement age to get that full amount, and then I wait for my full retirement age, I can get 50% of that. So I'd be entitled to $1,500 as opposed to my $800.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you just hit it before. I don't get both. Like I would not get my 800 and ding ding
Right,
charity. You know, I got 1,500. No, I would be entitled to the greater of the two, 1,500. The way it would be paid out, this is confusing to folks, is I don't just get a check for 1,500. It's just 50% of hers. I would get first paid my 800, and then the difference would be the second part would be the spousal benefit. The spousal benefit would be $700. Now I get a lump. Altogether, it's that 1,500, which is 50% of hers. And that is if full retirement age wait. If I go earlier than that, I don't get the full 50%. I get a lower percentage.
Okay.
I believe it's like 32% or something.
Now, what if your spouse goes earlier? So let's say your spouse goes at 65 and their full retirement age is 67. Does that then affect the spousal benefit as well?
100%. Yep. I just mentioned me as a lower income spouse, the effect is I don't get 50%. But you're right. If my wife, who's a higher earner, that $3,000 is at 67 for her. Well, if she claims it earlier, it's not 3,000 anymore, right? She's getting a percentage of that, whatever that number is. So if she goes at age 62 and I said it was 30% less, what is that? 30% of that, what's
2,100?
Yeah. So now let's say it's 2,100. Now, even if I wait till 67, my spousal benefit's 50% of 2,100. So that's definitely. And I think what people would say is that higher earning spouse, their decision affects both spouses.
Right. Yeah.
That's a big conversation to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, that's not informing them is the key because a lot of people just don't know that.
Right.
Oh yeah, they just think my spousal benefits 50% of theirs. Their full retirement benefits, like you said, 3,000. So I'm going to get 1,500. But they don't realize if it's taken early or, and just so, and I think you made it clear, but the max you can get is 50%. So let's say your spouse waits till age 70. And now they're going to be collecting more than 3,000. So let's say, for example, your wife's now collecting 4,200.
Yep.
You're not going to be, your benefit doesn't go up to 2,100. It's capped at the 1,500.
It's capped at 50%.
50%.
Right.
So
it'll go up if they wait.
So it will go up.
So in my scenario that I just talked about, my wife is the higher earner. She waits. I will get 50% of whatever she waited till.
Okay.
But what will not increase is the 50%. Me waiting beyond my 67 years old will not give me 75% or something, or 8%.
On top of that.
It's not going to do that.
Right. So full retirement, they wait till 70, you're still getting the 50% if you wait.
If I wait till my full retirement age.
Right.
So the learning opportunity is that because everyone, if you remember right at the beginning, we said, what's the general rules? The longer you wait, the more you make. Well, in this situation, exactly the way we describe it, me, the lower income spouse, waiting beyond 67 to get that higher spousal benefit doesn't make any difference. So now you might as well get it when you're 67.
Yeah.
In that scenario. But again, the big asterisk here for any of your listeners is not, don't try and memorize this. It's
right.
The point is have a
Right.
discussion with someone, and take a thorough look at because what's right for your family, like your mother and your father or your neighbors, because everyone's got opinions. You guys probably see it on the financial.
Oh yeah.
You really should save your money this way because I did it and my cousin did this. No, not how it works. Individual, you need an expert, and I think you might have been asking me, but who's the expert? This certification gives me like props, like some kind of expert, but is it the Social Security office? Like, are you going to call Social Security? Are they able to advise you? And I don't know if you know that answer.
Yeah.
Do you know that answer?
No.
There's no advisement.
There's
possible.
no advisement.
Nope. No. You tell them what you want, they can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you want to make it even more complicated, you could talk about the Social Security benefits of getting divorced.
Oh, yeah.
When you're getting divorced. I mean, that can complicate things even more. I believe it's if you're married for 10 plus years,
10 plus
you're
years,
entitled
you
to
got
your ex-spouse's benefits.
Yep, you served your time.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
sentence was served.
Right.
And yes, so 10 years is the trigger.
Yeah.
So what they'll ask for, and again, at the office, all they want is your marriage certificate and your divorce decree. And those dates must be 10. So it was 9 months or 9 years and 11 months. You're not getting a penny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then let's see, I believe you can't get married again and still claim your ex-spouse.
Correct.
If you get married, you would be entitled to your current spouse's benefits.
Correct. But if
So-
you get divorced again,
If you get divorced again, right. But if you marry someone who makes less money, you might,
well,
you might
yeah,
wanna
don't
wait
put.
on getting
You're
married.
putting, now you're putting ethical questions. I can't.
What are your thoughts on not getting married?
I can neither
So-
confirm nor deny that.
And so let's say you are the lower income earning spouse, and you've now been divorced. You've been married for 10 plus years in 2 different times. Is it your most recent marriage? Do you know? Or do you have to option?
So, by the way, this is an example where I would table this one and I would research before I get back to someone who asked me that question as a client.
Yeah.
But my understanding, if you don't no one hold me to this and take me to court, I believe you can do either. I believe you can go back to the first, and because then but what I get more than anything about the which one or whatever, it's the divorced person wants to know, do I need my divorced partner or whatever you call it, my previous married spouse, right? My previous spouse, do I need their permission to claim it? And does it reduce theirs? And the answer is, and I think that was something we're going to talk about later, but it seems appropriate now. No. They have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. If you had 3 ex-spouses of all 10 plus years, they could all get a portion of your benefits.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other thing if you're the higher earning, the higher earner, and you're married 3 times for 10 plus years each, which would be impressive.
Is it?
It depends.
Right. I mean, that's a feat.
Right.
I would say learn a lesson.
Yeah, right.
No judgment.
I'm pretty good at this for
right,
about
right.
10 years.
I kind of max out at that time.
I mean, you're not totally afraid of commitment.
Right,
You're
right.
just not after a threshold. You're like, done.
Right. It's like an expiration date or something.
Exactly.
Yes. So let's say you're the higher you're the lower income earning ex-spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to wait for your former spouse to start collecting in order to collect your benefit? Because maybe you don't talk, like what if you don't have those communications and
most benefits, most of the spousal benefits and the divorce benefits, I would say, are claimed or based on when that other person claims. Remember, I talked about spousal benefits, 50%. You max at 50% of whatever number they're getting. Well, there's no number until they're getting something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Until they've started to claim, there's no way to calculate
how much
what
you're
your
gonna get.
portion is.
Right.
okay. Yeah.
You might know if let's say you're the older lower income, right? You're going to have to make that decision first, right? So when do I claim? Well, when you claim will affect you again on the spousal benefit later when your spouse does it. So until that number is accrued, you're just going to get your own benefit at that percentage. So how's that for?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, the good thing is, which we haven't talked about, but maybe it's a good time to talk about now, is if you do make a decision and you don't like it, there's a do-over option.
There is. I don't advise that being your MO, hey, I can at least screw it up and do it. Yeah. Yes, there's a way out. you have 12 months to do it, and then you pay back with benefits you got, and then you can wait and then start as if you never did it.
Yep.
However, the solution to that is do your education first, right? Learn your situation as thoroughly as possible, because it's you. No one's going to be a better advocate than you. So even if you lack the skill set to understand what my numbers are, find someone, I'm not saying it has to be me, but find someone who is trained to at least sift through the parts of the 2,700 laws that exist for Social Security that can figure out what you need to know for your circumstance.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not the SSA. They're not advisors.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We have a tool that we use where we can kind of plug in, your benefits and all the different options, your age, and it'll kind of give you an optimal, solution, that, based on your age and your life expectancy. But, like we said in the beginning, when you pass away,
right.
that's what's really going to
right.
determine when's the best time to take it. So oftentimes when we're having conversations with clients, and I'm sure Anthony does too, it's, well, do you have longevity in your family? No, I don't. Both my parents passed away earlier. Yes, both my parents are still alive. They lived in, they're in their 90s. Well, waiting may make sense. So
I'll ask you a question. Which gender has a less optimistic view of their lifespan? Men. Every guy I've talked to thinks I'm going to get at 62 because I've done all this my whole life. I've been drinking, all this stuff. And they say, well, I'm not going to live, so might as well do it now. And who does it affect? If they're the high earner, it also affects their spouse.
Yeah.
And guess what surprisingly happens? They outlive what they thought.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so, we don't have a crystal ball. So there's never, the only way to know which decision was correct is after.
Right.
So
hindsight's 20/20.
So
always.
I guess we just use the factors we do know, and we say, okay, what do we believe is true? Law of numbers, I guess, law of my family. Have I had health issues already? That when I'm doing my Medicare discussions, it's the same thing. It's like, you don't have a crystal ball. You have one plan that might have higher copays now than the other, but the other one costs you more money, premium wise. So how do we make that decision? Well, again, no crystal ball, but what can we do? Let's look at your last couple of years of history, utilization. So that's kind of the same thing. You're really just trying to use as many factors as you can to make what you believe is a proper decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Oftentimes we'll take their Social Security estimator, we'll take their their retirement plan, and we'll put the two together, and then say, okay, your success rate is this if you take Social Security at 62. If you wait till full retirement age, your success rate is this. If you wait till 70, it's this. And then you kind of have a better idea of, what it looks like and how much it affects your plan taking it early. Because, it could be a 30% drop in your Social Security benefit. It's pretty significant.
Yeah. If you're just going on your own, it is a 30% drop right off the bat. But then there's that question, right? This big fancy question about break even. Have you guys, deal with that thing, right?
Yep. When is the break even point?
So that varies, but in general, what happens is there's 5 years. So if you get at 62, then that means you're getting for 5 years. You're getting this lower number for 5 years, though. That's 60 months of this payment that you would not have. So even though it's lower, it's money. That has a dollar amount. Mm-hmm. You can calculate that. Well, how long would it take if I waited to my full retirement age, 67, and then move forward to make up that lost income, right?
Right.
Well, for most people, it's around 77 or 78 years old is the break-even point. So if we don't have the crystal ball, but if you're like, not one male in my family has seen 73, right? Like, then maybe I should just get it early.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Maybe that helps me make that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. Now, let's say that happens. The husband passes away. The spouse is there collecting her spousal benefit, which is 50%. What happens then?
This is one I've not dealt with at all. I believe, and again, this would be the research time,
Yep.
right? I would say, okay, thank you for your question, so-and-so. I'm going to do my investigation. We'll have a follow-up meeting. But I believe it then goes to 100% of the spouse's benefit.
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at me.
We put him on the spot.
Look at
Right.
me. That was
Came through.
Yeah. Which is important for some people to know that, they don't plan on that, the step up. But yeah, that's, if you have a spouse that, could live another 20 years, and if it was 50% of the original, I mean, that could be
It's a
significant.
huge difference.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing we didn't touch base on is how it's calculated. Social Security. That's another big question people ask. There's three big ones. That's probably the second one. The third one I'm going to wait till the end.
Oh boy.
All right.
Right.
Got me nervous.
I know.
I
was a little nervous.
Yeah. So I think you're referring to the 35-year
Yep.
work history, right? So, and there's a fancier calculation than this, but in general, what many people do know now is that 35 years of your work history are taken together, and then calculations made that comes up with an average to come up with that fancy term I talked about earlier, the primary insurance amount. So that counts all 35 years, no matter what. If you've worked only 20, 15 of those years will be zero. So when you go and you average, those zeros bring your number down. So even if you made hundreds of $1,000s in your 20 years, so in the 20 years you had $100,000 average, you now have to put 15 zeros in there, right? So it's going to come down.
Which is pretty significant.
So if knowing that earlier, although we probably wouldn't listen to it when we were in our 20, maybe you financial people would have, but most of us would not listen to it. But you would say, okay, that means even when you were 16 years old, 17 years old, you're doing those, minimum wage positions.
Right.
Those count, right?
Yeah.
Potentially. So as we get older, our income tend to go up. So that's another reason why potentially people are working longer to negate the zeros, to get a zero out and bring in a number.
That makes sense.
Right. So that's why we're seeing, one of the reasons why we're seeing people work longer, not to mention the health insurance.
Right.
Don't get me
Right,
started.
yeah,
Right. So anyway, so 35-year work history is information to people. Not everyone knows that. So.
Yeah, and if people have questions, I know back in the day, I was able to, and this wasn't not that long ago, but I was able to have clients come in. We would go on the Social Security website, the calculator. I'd plug in their maiden name, where they were born, their mother's maiden name, or a few pieces of information, and I would be able to get their calculator and what they're projected to bring home in Social Security. That's not the case anymore. Now, everyone's expected to kind of create their own login. But if you are, wondering what this information is, you can go to the ssa.gov website and get that information. So, which I highly recommend.
So do I. I have my clients do it because also in the Medicare world,
Right.
the first step, if you're not receiving Social Security benefit yet, you have to manually go on there and request Medicare to begin. So I help my clients do that. Again, it's not a pretty or a compensating task for me to do. Like I don't get compensated to do it, but I help ensure they don't make a mistake and press the wrong button, because there's people that do want to start the Medicare but don't want to begin their Social Security benefit. If you press the one wrong button, guess what you just started?
Right. It's just one button.
Right.
One button.
The red button.
One question that they ask. There's a question that says, "Are you applying for Medicare only and it's worded so bad.
Right.
You press the wrong. You might inadvertently select your benefit to begin. Yeah. So I'm willing to do this with you.
And then if you're claiming Social Security, you auto enroll, correct?
If you already are receiving a Social Security benefit and you're turning 65, you're auto-enrolled in parts A and B of
That's right.
Medicare. And as long as they're doing their job, which now, no, I don't want to throw any shade on anybody, but those departments have been cut.
Right.
So they're overloaded. And someone says to me, well, how long should I expect it to take for me to get my Medicare card if I manually do it? Or when should it come if it automatically happens? Like, I can tell you when it should happen, but there's no guarantee. Like, I've had individuals that do it manually and then they get a card within 2 weeks. I've had people take months. So, and that's horrible. Like, how, to not be able to tell someone what they can expect.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, you got to be very careful. But I agree with you on the site. It's very important. I would highly recommend creating the account. Get someone's help if you need it. Create it so you can see everything. You know, they'll send you part of it in the report. When you are receiving a benefit, you'll get the award letter every year.
Right.
Right.
You know, in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would do it well before you're getting to the point of making that decision, so you can start to plan, because it'll give you a projection.
Sure.
I do believe.
Yeah.
So you can kind of get an idea as you get closer to that Social Security age of when you should be taking it, and that's just the more information you can provide us, always the better.
Yeah.
And I would say, to your point, do it. And like, if you're listening to this now, I don't care how old you are, do it now.
Yeah.
Just create
You
it.
know, I'm curious because I've never looked at mine.
No?
You? Have you?
Oh, I've got my login and everything. I haven't looked at what I'm projected. I don't even know if will it be around?
There we go.
Oh, is that the question?
That's the third question.
That's the
I'm
question.
so sorry.
Dude,
It was just right there, and I had to.
It was on the tee.
I had
It was
to
almost
ask.
like he hit a hole in one right there.
Yeah. You set it up.
Takes after his father.
I blew it.
But yes, the third question, is it even going to be around? You know, it's a lot of people say, you know, I'm going to take it at 62 because it's not going to be around, and you know, and there are reports out there, and you know, people have kind of questioned whether it's going to be around.
Sure.
But what are your thoughts?
First of all, if you know the answer, if you've seen anything on commercials or just I don't know, fake news, whatever you want to call it, but where people are telling you the answer to that, I mean, you've probably heard all of it. You've probably heard, oh, Social Security's fine, Social Security's gone, and everything that I or anyone else can give you an answer to should be no idea. That's the answer. Don't know. Now, they say solvency by 2032 or 2035, somewhere in that range, that some of the wells will be dry. So they expected that. How would that affect a person is about 25%, let's just say, of a reduction to the benefit they've earned. So if we go back to the $2,000 example, that would be down to $1,500 potentially for that individual. So that's if it does that. Now, in the past, this has happened before. I don't know if you're aware of that, but one of the solutions was, let's make it older age before someone is full retirement age. And they've just moved it back. So the one we just got to the plateau is 67. Well, there's rumors that, well, what if they just keep going up?
Right.
You know, that's one potential way to resolve. Because what's happening is we're living longer. In general.
Yeah, because I mean, Social Security, I mean, originally it was for, you know, retirement, but the benefit started when your life expectancy was ending. So, I mean, you weren't supposed to be on it long.
No, you're 100% right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think Social Security is going anywhere. I think there'll be changes. I think people that are younger, probably in their 30s and 40s, you're not going to be able to take it at 62 unless there's some extreme reason.
Right.
But I think our full retirement age is probably going to be 70 or higher.
I agree.
70, 72.
And that's what will keep Social Security going. You know?
Well, the other thing, I think since COVID, I think there's been a dip in the lifespan. Like we were always going up, and I think it flattened.
Yep.
Right. So who knows? That's the point. We don't know. I don't think it's going to be gone. If I can give a quick story, when I was a teacher in the Rochester City School District, And anybody who does listen to this that I taught with is going to know what I'm talking about. Almost every year, even my first year, there is a budget crisis. Like, we're going to have a shortfall of like $50 million. And, jobs are going to, like, fear monger, man. And it seemed to pipe up really, believe it or not, near elections. I never really got that last part of it when I was especially just at the beginning of my career. But it seemed to be repetitive. And guess what happened? Every time the money showed up. The money showed up. And no one ever really justified where it went, where the fear came from, but somehow it came up. So I'm not saying that's what's happening with Social Security, but I don't get nervous. It numbed me to these reports, some of them, you know. So yes, we should be concerned. I get that. It's your future. And if you have no other income, this is all you're relying on, which is a lot of Americans. It is,
that's terrifying.
Excuse my language, it's BS that it's being used potentially as a leverage point in a political thing. And I don't go to politics, but I just don't know sometimes why we're all made to be afraid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because afraid creates action.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
manipulatable.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem of it. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it would be interesting to know exactly what the numbers are and what it actually looks like. But I think there's always a way to kind of solve for that, and there will be some solution, and it'll probably be at the detriment of younger people.
But I will say, like, again, not shameless plug for you guys or people in your role, right? The financial, what you offer people is what I definitely do not and don't want, because it's just so much more knowledge that is needed, and in a category that I'm just not comfortable with, money, right? But by you giving other avenues of how to complement their Social Security, so it's not just that, they're going to have the ability to, you know, survive whatever the government does to them or to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, that's where opportunities arise.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The best way to alleviate the stress of not having Social Security is not having to rely on Social Security.
Right.
Yeah. If you can make it so Social Security is just a bonus.
Right. Then it's not a big deal anymore.
Then none of this minutia stuff or this gets lost, because none of it matters if you've got your eggshell for retirement all set in other avenues, in my opinion.
And, you know, and that gets back to what we say all the time is you got to start early, you know, and
100%,
you know, looking at your retirement benefits, you know, where you're working, if there's a retirement plan, a 401k, 403b, you know, if you're lucky and get a pension, I mean, that's
hard to come by now.
You know, but doing the planning early is going to help alleviate some of that stress of whether or not Social Security is going to be here in some capacity.
Yeah.
So definitely.
I'm trying to think of any other stories. Social Security. Have any Social Security like stories or one-off, you know, situations that are kind of unique?
All right. I got one. It just popped up. So I just think about my parents. And so my parents are immigrants. And I'm a proud son of an immigrant. And they came in, surprisingly enough, as Greeks. What do you think they went into as an industry?
A restaurant?
You got it. So they go into the diner business and they work their tails off. They work every day. And that's the big thing that I learned from them was hard work. Well, in that business and businesses that are at the time highly cash oriented, there's a benefit. And what people would do is what was actually claimed as income, there is some flexibility. Let's just say that. Creative tax, right? Bookkeeping. So, and that's great. You got to hold on a little bit more of your money and you got to live, right? Well, guess what that doesn't do? It doesn't show up in that 35-year average. Yeah. Guess what? So they worked their butts off. They worked 7 days a week, and now they have benefits that are like $1,200 a month, right? Where are you going to go? And I have lots of clients that are in the, believe it or not, $1,500 or less. And then when you talk about my Medicare premium of $200 a month, that is a significant portion, right?
Yeah.
So I guess when you talk about what's my story, I mean, it'd be great if it was you get what you deserve or you get what you earn. No, you get what you learn about the system and the guidance you get. When? Early.
Yeah.
They never had that education. So now not only are they living it, but so are their children living it with them, you know? So,
Yeah.
so now I have a son who has maxed all the 401ks at his jobs. He has more away than I have away, right? That's because of now a generation it took or two to go, hey,
Right.
you got to get this stuff in order, because it's the alternative to living that long is you don't live, right? But so you got to prepare to live.
Right. Yep.
And a lot of us say, well, never going to. My family, well,
Worst case scenario is you do and you're not prepared.
yeah. And someone's gonna pay for that.
Right.
And who is it going to be? Some people get cynical view and say, oh, well, then all my tax dollars are going to pay for it. Well, first it's going to be your kids. It's going to be the people closest to you that are going to have to, you know, now there's like the GoFundMe generation, and I don't have anything against that. But I mean, if that's the solution you have to your health care, and that's a societal thing too, but
Right.
like, what can you do, especially when you have dependents on you? When you're a single individual, you're never thinking about these things. But if you could, the people in front of you in your future are going to benefit from it. They're going to be thankful that you did it.
Right.
And those are the people that should be coming to you guys. How do I protect my future family?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
So I don't know if that was a good enough.
That's a great
No,
story.
yeah, that's
I think
that
that
was,
that kind of encapsulates exactly what we're talking about.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's all about the planning, understanding, and if you don't know, it's going to the experts, asking the questions, and because those answers are out there, and and if we've gone through a lot today, but like you said, there's 2,700 rules. There's so many different unique situations for every person that you really have to have that meeting with that an expert to kind of say, okay, this is my situation, what does it look like?
Right.
and kind of put that plan in place. And we do retirement plans for people who are in their 20s, 30s. Retirement isn't for another 30, 40, 50 years, but doing that planning now sets them way ahead.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I mean, there's no downfall to it. More information you have.
right. Yeah. But no, that's a perfect story. It kind of reminds like our grandparents that they're immigrants from Italy, but yeah, they worked, but they also had an apple orchard, fruit farm,
Right.
and sold vegetables and at the market, and that was all cash
Business.
Yep.
And if you didn't report it all, then it didn't go towards your Social Security
Right.
benefit. Yeah.
But I think it was like an expectation back then. I think even the government knew, like bartenders, I've done that too. Bartend, serving, nowadays you can't, it's hard to do any of that. You really can't, because everything's so credit card oriented. You just,
Right.
the swipe is there's a recording, that's why when I go to the restaurants, I just pay the bill. I give cash to
Yep.
it, and then, I still think they have an allowance that they're supposed to, and now they get higher minimum wage,
Yeah.
but
Your PSA, if you're
Yeah.
going to a restaurant, pay cash.
Yeah.
Tip in cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's funny how many people carry cash these
No,
days.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's,
the only time I carry cash is
Yeah,
when
when
I
you
know
go to
I'm
a
going
restaurant,
out.
right,
going
right.
somewhere where I have to tip is the
Yeah.
only time I have cash on me.
huh.
Yeah,
I'll have to keep that in mind.
there you go. Little nugget.
Oh, cool. We typically try to ask a question to our guests, and this is more of a recent thing, but you kind of answered it already. But if there was one, thing that you could, suggest as far as what you've learned through all your experience in, Medicare and Social Security, like that you've learned that you think people should, do or kind of live that same way or
Yeah.
learn from that value, what would it be?
Well, I think I might be skewed on it because, I mean, how did I get into this field was because I felt there's a need and a value at being someone who can educate, right? So then my answer shouldn't be shocking when I say, don't do it by yourself. Like, there's no need to. The hard part of finding a solution to support you in these categories, financial advisory, wealth management, Medicare, Social Security, is who do you trust? There's the literature people get, our seniors are bombarded and slammed by stuff, phone calls, nonstop. I mean, if you've not seen it in someone's house, it is atrocious what happens. They're ducking their own phones. Like they're sitting in their house and they see the spam risk and they're just stuck.
Yeah.
Because if they've learned anything, don't answer the phone. Now with AI, people are just, is this so-and-so? Yes. You say yes, and all of a sudden, who knows what they're doing with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So don't answer the phone. I mean, and I've had clients who've not followed that instruction. I've had those horrible stories that have occurred. So what's my suggestion? Don't do it by yourself. You got to figure out who you can trust. How do you do that? I wish I could give you like everyone's gonna say, trust me. I never say that.
Right.
I say the way I get most of my clients they come to me. Medicare, we cannot cold call. We can send postcards and all that, but I don't waste any money on that. Referrals. What happens is you take care of it. I think you guys go by the same mode. Take care of the one client, right? Mm-hmm. And treat them like they're the only client and be honest with them. And sometimes that means less commission for you or sometimes zero commission, but do the right thing. Because when you do, what happens is the word of mouth goes out there, just like as if it was the other way around. Bad word of mouth goes out just as fast. So
if not faster sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
So maybe your friend has already gotten this consultation from a Social Security analyst. Maybe they've gotten a financial advisement already. So if someone refers you, trust that. Trust someone to get you to the right place.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know. So don't do it by yourself. That's my
No, I love that.
end.
Because
No
I
need
think
to do
that's
that.
huge. Because there are people that want to do it themselves or they think they can, and you know, some people can do it, you know, but it doesn't hurt to always get that second opinion or
I
extra
have
guidance.
one more quick one.
All right.
I
Yeah,
just
go
wanna-
ahead.
Because I don't know how I feel about the type A folks. Like the teachers are very type A. So, and I can say that. So no one
Right.
throw stones. Yeah, I deserve it. But very type A. So even when they're asking for help, they know the answer. So tactfully, how to deal in conversation with them is very difficult for someone who's the expert. So I listen. You know, we listen to them. We take their info, but there are times when you have to, they're incorrect, right? You know, someone comes into you and they give you their perception of this investment. That's a good idea. And you're like, that's just not right. Right. And sometimes you just have to do that.
Yeah.
So I just find that part interesting.
Yeah.
They want help, but they don't want help. So
Right.
I don't know if you've ever fired a client.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are times where it's not a good fit,
Yep.
and we'll let someone know if
Yeah.
it's not a good fit.
That's I've done the same thing.
And
Yep.
But when you first start in business, you're like, I need everybody.
yeah,
That's not
right,
not
because you
conducive.
can't.
Just be honest.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
you and I are not. You know, you appear to understand what you're doing, and
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few different times while we were chatting that I was going to mention. There are certain times where we're giving advice and kind of laying down the groundwork, and this is X, Y, and Z of why we should do it this way, and they may just say,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yep.
I don't want to do it that way. Okay.
But I find that as your time with that client, and have you've proven, you know, sometimes that's what they need, especially with money. I think if it's
Right.
more like that, they're like, well, you know, especially if you're younger than them. I find the challenge for the younger financial advisors, like this 60-year-old's looking at this mid-20 person, and you're going to tell me what to do. Well, how much money you got, right? That's
Right.
like already
Right.
in their brain.
Yeah.
Right. But if they do get past that hurdle and then they see then I think they'd be more open to,
Right.
when you say, no, not this one. Oh, okay. Because we've been together for 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Like a pre-divorced marriage.
And I'm assuming you said mid-20s because
Yeah, you
you
were
think I'm in
referring to-
my mid-20s.
No,
right?
I
Yes. Yes.
I appreciate you saying mid-20s for us.
Can we crop just him saying yes?
I'm just, listen, how old, no, I wouldn't say, because I get the overestimated, right? People are like, oh man, how's Medicare? I'm like, you son of a, no, I'm 50.
When did you start taking Social Security?
I go, this is just a distinguished hairline.
Right,
Not everyone can pull this off.
Yeah. Did you wait till full retirement age for Social Security?
I'm waiting for 70.
Well, thanks again.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate all the knowledge and information.
Appreciate you guys having me.
If anyone has questions, feel free to reach out to us or Jim. Like I said, what you don't know,
You don't know what you don't know.
you don't know what you don't know. Getting that knowledge, having someone kind of guide you through it is huge. It may take a little more time, but in the end, it's going to save you a lot of time, headache, heartache, and it can be preventable.
Yeah. And if you're unsure about your plan, in his story, if you don't have someone that you ultimately trust in that situation, or you're unsure about your plan, would like a second opinion, always feel free to reach out. We can, if we don't have the answer, like we alluded to earlier, we can definitely find it for you and try to give you as much information as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks everyone again for tuning in. Feel free to send us questions, like the video, and subscribe to us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Thank you.
Beautiful.
I almost forgot about Apple.
I know.